Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. As a teacher, I was always curious what happens in the classroom next to me. Now, being here at the University of Warwick gave me an opportunity to interact with people from different countries and have a sneak peek about their education system by looking at their personal experiences. In this series today, we have Fatima. She is from Iran. So, thank you very much for joining, Fatima.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Could you tell us more about your country and your hometown?
Yes, so I live in Iran. It's in the Middle East, yeah. And Tehran is the capital of Iran. So it's a very big city with like 16 million people living in it.
Great. And you live at Tehran?
Yeah, I live in Tehran.
Okay, now let's start from your primary and pre-primary education. So at what age did you start your schooling?
Yeah, so I started schooling at the age of 7.
Okay.
But that has changed now. So at our time, we started with year 1. Now there are 2 preschool years. But the first one is not mandatory. So the first one that starts at the age of 5 is not mandatory, but all students need to go to school at the age of 6.
Okay, and you started at 7.
Yeah, I started at 7.
Okay, could you tell us more about your school and your classrooms? Like how many students were there? What were the subjects, something like that?
Yeah, so I think we were about like 30 students in one class. And like it's the maximum is 30.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so I used to go to different types of classes. Are you talking about primary school
Yes,
or
primary school.
So yeah, primary school. Yeah, so we have 5 years of primary school in Iran, and like we had, it has changed again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 years, and then each year we had one teacher for all different subjects.
Okay, so one teacher teaching all subjects.
Yeah, one teacher teaching all subjects. And then, could you ask more questions?
Okay, what were the subjects you studied at primary level?
Okay, yeah, the subjects. So we had PE, theology, maths, Farsi, which is our mother tongue,
Okay.
and science, and art.
Yeah, and you did not study English at primary level?
No.
Okay, and the subjects were in your mother tongue, like every subject?
Yeah, everything was in Farsi. Yeah.
Okay. So what was the type of school? Was it co-educational, only for girls, or something like that?
Yeah, we don't have any co-ed in Iran.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So all schools are either girls' schools or boys' schools.
Okay, and are these schools run by the government, or is there any private institution running this school?
Yes. In fact, so we've got a few different types of schools. Yeah? The most 2 common types are state schools, which are free,
Okay.
and private schools, which you have to pay for. Now, the thing is, private schools are not as expensive as the ones like here in the UK.
Okay.
So it's very common. Like most people send their children to private schools, especially these days. Like in the past, it wasn't as much. Like when I was in primary school, we didn't have so many, private schools. But even me, like I started going to a private school when I was in middle school. So after primary school, we've got middle school, or you may call it junior high school,
Okay.
and then the high school. So yeah, but then the state schools again have different types.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of them are only for the very intelligent students.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there is like a placement test, and if students can pass that test, they can enter. Though that, again, I think is not for primary school. That's for like junior high school, like secondary school.
Speaking about your junior high school, could you tell us more about, again, along the same lines?
Yeah, definitely. So the junior high school was a bit different. Well, the junior high school started at the age of 12 and continued like 12, 13, and 14. Yeah, for 3 years.
Okay.
And then now it has like, it's merged into primary and secondary school. So there is no such thing as junior high school anymore.
Okay, so now it's 5 years of primary and afterwards secondary.
Actually, now it's like 6 years of primary.
Okay.
And and then
Secondary.
6 years of secondary.
Okay. So again, same number of students in the class.
So yes, again the same number of students, but this time we had different teachers for each subject.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the number of the subjects were more varied. So we had sociology, geography, history,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
English as well, maybe.
Yeah. English was added,
Yeah.
at that time. Arabic,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And was it the same school for you to go to junior high school, or did you go to some different school?
No, I went to a private school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about the school?
So private schools are like they are better equipped in comparison with
Mm-hmm.
state schools, and what the teachers are often better.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like in Iran, we've got a high stake test at the end of high school to enter university,
Okay.
and that influences everything.
Yeah.
So it's like in private schools, they start teaching you and preparing you for that test from early stages. So I can say it's very difficult in Iran because like teenagers are spending all their time studying.
Watchback effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking about your high school, so 5 years of primary, 3 years of junior high school, and then you went to high school.
And so we've got again 3 years of high school
Mm-hmm.
and 1 year of pre-university.
Okay.
So the high school is like the first year is the same for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but then from the second year you have to choose which major you want to study. So there are mainly 3 majors: maths and physics,
Mm-hmm.
biology. It's not biology; it's called science, in fact,
Mm-hmm.
and then humanities.
Okay.
Which actually, like, depending on that, you can choose what to study at university.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we have another type of high school that is kind of like vocational school. So you can study a whole lot of, like electronics, computer,
yeah.
graphic, and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, those schools I remember used to be considered very bad in the past. Like, but there was this assumption that the most intelligent students study math, the least intelligent go to vocational schools.
Yeah.
However, that's not really true because they've got different intelligences.
True. Exactly.
Yeah. So it was like. All parents wanted their children to become doctors and engineers, so they forced them to study math and science. But nowadays, I think it has changed, and parents are more accepting of their children's intelligence.
That's a good news. So what did you study? What options did you choose?
Yeah, so I studied math.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I studied math, and to be honest, I can say I don't remember a word of what's studied in that. The thing is, we studied a lot of different things. Like we studied algebra, geometry, differentials, integrals,
Mm-hmm.
arithmetics, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things that you don't normally need in your life unless you study, specific type of engineering at university.
Yeah. So when you choose optional, you have maths. You also have physics
and chemistry.
Okay, no English at all.
No, we do. So the thing is, we've got these 3 things as the what do we call it, like specialty
Mm-hmm.
courses,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have some again general courses or something like that, which is the same no matter what you
Irrespective of
study.
option, yeah.
Yeah. So that is English,
Mm-hmm.
again Farsi and Arabic,
Okay.
and theology.
Okay.
And of course, we've also got PE, but that's not tested. So.
Okay. Now speaking about you, was the high school and junior high school the same for you, or did you go to some other school again?
No, it was the same. I went to the same school.
Okay. And after first year, once you choose the subjects,
Mm.
you are divided according to your subjects into
Yeah.
different classes.
Yeah. And then, our school sizes in Iran are not really that big. So it was like we were only 60 students in each year. And then like half of us, and our school only offered maths and science.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were half, again, 30 students in each class.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And once you finish junior high school, as you said, you have that exam. What's that exam?
Not junior high school, high
Sorry,
school.
high school, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So then we have 1 year of pre-university. And that year is just like high school again. I don't know why they make it different. Yeah, but then when you finish that, you have to take the entrance exam for university, which we call concours. So the entrance exam tests, like for the maths and physics, it just tests those three things that I told you: math,
Physics,
chemistry, and chemistry, and also the general modules.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing is, no matter what you want to study, the higher score you get, the better university and the more popular degree you can choose to study at. Yeah. So it's like when I was a high school student, architecture was very à la mode. Yeah, it was fashionable. So, but also it was considered that whoever studies electronics and IT, civil engineering, so those were like highly regarded.
Yeah.
And so anyone who got like the first, like became first in entrance exam would choose electronics. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
And then we have the rankings of universities in Iran. So like University of Tehran is the best. And so it's kind of like people do not choose what they want to study based on their interest and their abilities, talents.
I mean, it's almost the same thing back in India as well. Speaking about that 1 year you spoke, pre-university, that is something new to us because we don't have that thing. So could you tell us more what you studied and how that year worked?
So again, we studied the same thing, like physics, maths, and it gets more and more difficult. So physics, like we studied quantum physics.
Oh my God.
I didn't even understand, the basic ideas in it. Yeah, so we study the same thing, but then it gets more and more difficult and more useless.
Yeah, as you said, it's the same high school, just with a different name.
Yeah.
Okay. So once someone passes the test, he goes to the university.
Yeah.
And as you said, there are different courses available from different universities, and there are different universities.
Yeah.
So what are different types of universities?
So something that I think is different in Iran, I'm not sure, to be honest, but we've got, again, state universities which are totally free.
Wow.
Yeah, until PhD.
Wow, that's lovely.
Yeah. I've heard that there are a few other countries like Germany that have such universities. I'm not sure though. But the thing is, because they're free and because they're the best universities in Iran, entering them is very competitive.
Of course.
And then the thing is, like, even for the PhD, you have to take the entrance exam. So there's no such thing as writing proposals and such, So you just have to pass an entrance exam, which is ridiculous, to be honest. Which is one of the reasons I chose to come to the UK, because it's like all, a test of memory.
Yeah. And by exam, you mean written exam or MCQ exam?
No, it's like a multiple choice exam that is corrected by machines.
Yeah.
And because there are a large number of people attending the exam.
Yeah, we have the same system, So moving now, let's go to some other area. If someone wants to be a teacher in Iran, how can he become a teacher?
Yeah, so we've got a special university that is called Teacher Training University. And people can go study there, but it's not considered, to be honest, a very high quality and high ranking university. So the thing is, like, in my school, which was a very famous school in Iran, the person who taught us taught us physics because we're very interested in physics. Like, he was he had studied, he had masters in electronics from the best university in Iran, which is like for engineering, Sharif University.
Mm-hmm.
Many of those, students in Sharif University get a scholarship and leave Iran, go to the U.S. And all other countries. So the thing is, like we sometimes had doctors teaching biology.
Wow.
Yeah, in high schools, in these specific high schools that I'm telling you that are very famous, and so it's not limited. Like if you want to teach in Iran, you do not have to have a teacher training certificate.
Oh, that's interesting. So imagine if I'm an engineer and I decide to study in the high school. So apart from my engineering degree, do I have to complete some other course?
No, I don't. But I mean, there is some pre-service and in-service training offered by. So again, it seems like in Iran we're very much interested in tests. So if someone wants to become a teacher in state schools,
Mm-hmm.
which means it's a permanent job. I don't say it's a well-paid job, but it's a very easy job,
Yeah.
because once you enter it, everything is guaranteed. So you've got your salary, you've got your pension, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can work, as a private tutor to earn more money. So for that, the Ministry of Education, again, holds a test.
Okay.
And then anybody who can pass the test can enter, and they will have some pre-service training and in-service training to become teachers. But then what you study, the degree, doesn't really matter.
Interesting. Now, speaking about your career as a teacher, could you tell us how you entered this teaching profession and about your experience?
So I don't teach in mainstream education. I teach in private language schools.
Mm-hmm.
And also I've taught in private high schools.
Okay.
So how I entered, it's funny. Yeah. So when I was in high school, my teacher knew that my English is good, my English teacher. So when I graduated from high school, one day I went to see her and she said, I'm starting the department of English in another school, one of these other famous private schools. And then she invited me to teach there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that was so lucky.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I started
just like
teaching,
that.
I just like that. So I didn't even have a degree then. I didn't
Uh-huh.
have any teaching certificate. I didn't have any teaching experience. So I just went into the classroom, started teaching. It turned out that I was a good teacher because they were pleased. So they gave me, the status of the best teacher of the year
Lovely.
twice. Yeah, and then like this person was so influential in my life, my English teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So like she had a growth mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and she pushed us. It was not just me. So she gathered all her students who she thought were, talented and knew English and could teach. And then she pushed us.
Wow.
And yeah, so many of others, like I have one of my other colleagues there is now doing her PhD in early years education
Lovely.
in Edinburgh.
Wow.
Yeah, so so she actually pushed us to enter the field of teaching, and we all found it interesting. The thing is, I didn't study teaching at university. As I said, I studied math and I studied urban engineering.
Wow.
I got a bachelor's degree and even a master's degree in urban and regional
God.
planning.
So you are an engineer.
Yeah, I am an engineer, but it's no use. I never worked in that field.
Uh-huh.
So it was like when I graduated, I felt like it's the teaching that I want to continue.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about these private language schools, we don't have this concept. So could you tell us how these schools work?
You don't. Interesting. So the thing is, in Iran, the English teaching, as I told you, starts at the age of 12.
Mm-hmm.
However, the private schools begin it from the first year of primary school.
Mm-hmm.
And even these days, like kindergartens are bilingual or multilingual.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they teach English, French, Spanish sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is like because everybody wants to either travel abroad or emigrate. So I think it's a very big market today,
Mm-hmm.
like wanting to learn English.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the thing is, the quality of English teaching in schools is not really high.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody learns anything. Like I studied Arabic for how long? Like 7, 8 years, but I can't speak a word of Arabic now. You know? So it's everybody sends their children to like private language schools to
Mhm.
learn English, and then these private schools are again all different types. Because they're private, like there's no rules for them, so anybody can apply their own rules. And some of them, like some require teaching certificates, but I can say that most of them just rely on the proficiency in English.
Okay.
So, like when I first started working as a teacher in the language school, they just required a bachelor's degree, and I had just got my bachelor's degree, so irrelevant subject, yeah.
Mhm.
And then they asked us to have a TOEFL above 100 or IELTS above 7, I think, or
Oh, okay.
7.5, yeah. And well, they had their own test again, so we took tests, we took interviews, we had training and demonstration afterwards. So it wasn't easy to get into
Yeah.
this job, but no teaching certificate was required. The thing is, because in Iran there's no British Council, there
Okay.
is no Cambridge.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not easy to get certified. Like if you want to get a SALTA, you have to like travel abroad
Yeah.
to Dubai, Turkey, one of the
Mhm.
neighboring countries. So it's that they don't require it. These days, I think it's more common that some institutes, some universities hold their own TTCs. Yeah, and then they give the certificates to the teacher so that the teacher can use it for teaching.
Interesting. Now, about speaking about the private schools again, what are the target students' age you aim, and what are the timings of the classes? Because that should not be a clash with school timings as well.
You mean the language school and
Language
the
school,
private
yeah.
school? Okay, so like yeah. That's one point. So
Mm-hmm.
in Iran, all schools begin at 7 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
and finish at 3 or
Okay.
3:30.
Okay.
So all language schools,
Mm-hmm.
well, they say they are for adults, but they consider adults like 16 and above. So still like teenagers who go to school are still considered adults,
Mm-hmm.
but they can sit in the same class with other adults. So
Okay.
they may be working, they may be university students.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, so they all can't join in the morning. So all classes are held in the afternoon, 4
Of
to 8
course.
usually.
Yeah. You spoke about like English, Spanish, and other subjects being introduced at primary classes. So, just out of curiosity, who decides the curriculum for your schools? Is it your government or the schools?
Yeah, we have the like national curriculum.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that national curriculum is just what I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in like primary school, there's no English, there's no Arabic, it's just Farsi.
Mm-hmm.
But then private schools can add whatever they want as extracurricular.
Okay.
And because the parents are so willing to, send their children to these schools, they're willing to pay
Mm-hmm.
any amount of money for the and there's like even the government specifies the amount of tuition they can get. But then if the tuition is X, they get double the price or triple the price for extracurricular activities.
Of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Now, speaking about the next topic, do you want to share some interesting activities which may be started by you, by your institution, by your government recently?
To be honest, I'm not very familiar. As I told you, I don't work in like mainstream education, so I'm not very familiar with
Mm-hmm.
any changes they've made. I mean, I know a few things from my niece and nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one good thing they've done is that they don't give grades to primary school students anymore.
Okay.
So it's like they only uh, say outstanding, good, needs more work, such things. So they're moving a bit forward, towards more quality education
Okay.
and moving away from, summative assessments and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that it's changing for better. That they've introduced some new subjects such as media literacy.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah. They introduced it like I think 4 or 5 years ago,
Interesting.
and yeah, I think these things are a lot more useful than chemistry and maths and everything. So yeah, they're doing some work towards better education, but still there remains a lot that they need to do,
Of course.
especially regarding, say, English. The thing is, they're paying teachers, they're taking the time, but nobody's learning anything. So yeah, the issue is, as I told you, the quality of the like teacher education and the teachers. Like many of our English teachers at school didn't even know how to speak English themselves. I mean, they knew, but
Yeah.
they were probably maybe at B1 level themselves.
Yeah,
So they couldn't teach any further than that.
I get it.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot that can be done.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to share? Maybe about your favorite teacher, maybe something else?
Not really, not really. It's just that, when I came here, I was surprised to hear about all different types of, education in school. So I found what you're doing very interesting because
Yes.
people have a lot of different experiences.
Indeed.
Like when I heard one of our classmates saying that they teach like to 200 students in one class, I was surprised, like, how is that even possible?
Yes.
So yeah, I think what you're doing is very strong and very useful.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the compliment. And thank you very much for joining
You're
and
welcome.
attending the interview. It was a pleasure and we learned a lot from your experiences. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you.